watch as we transform this space into this. So stick with us as we show you the full construction of this pond. Welcome back to the channel and to the garden. In today's video we're going to be building a 7 by 7 by 2 foot deep pond with waterfall, and we're going to be utilizing the bridge in the middle as a feature. The bridge was picked up from Amazon. It is a Costway bridge, and I'll put a link in the description to how to build this bridge. What you can see now is we are just removing the old water feature that was here, as we are going to be placing the new water feature in this corner. But of course we want to get all the ground prepared first. Just as we look into this here, you can see we did have an old tub that we were using as a pondless feature. This was sort of the reservoir of the feature from before. Worked pretty well, but the area got overgrown, and I really just wanted to kind of change it and build something a bit larger in this space. As you can see, we removed all the rocks, and we'll be saving those for the future build. And as you can see here, the bridge next to it as well. This is the one we're going to be using for the project here. Now, part of the idea behind this build is we want to make like a water wall, so that you can see kind of a large structure or water feature on the side. And as we're just clearing out the space here, you can see what we're going to be doing is removing the slabs and using this location for the actual build. Now, when trying to get out the tub, I did manage to break it, unfortunately, but it doesn't matter. I'm not reusing it. We're just going to be taking that straight out. Once we've got that out, we can now go back and backfill the space, as I want to ensure that we start with a level, fresh dig. You can just see here it started raining, unfortunately, just while I was getting out my hose to measure out the size of the pond. It's going to be quite helpful when you are building a pond to measure out the size, as this can give you a rough idea in your head as to what you're looking at before you build. Now, what I'll also do is just measure this after this, just to ensure that we've got the rough sizing that I'm after in this space. As you can see, it is just fitting in within that 7-foot range here. But of course, with that said, what we're going to be doing is, as we build, these things do change, and I do find in most of my projects there's always a little bit of adjustments along the way. As you can see here now, we're starting to dig out and build the berm. Now, as we do this, we're packing in the dirt just to ensure that we've got a nice sturdy place for the waterfall to go into. I would generally try and kind of pack it down every once in a while, just to ensure you're not going to get soft areas and things like that. And now what we're doing is going back and once again just securing that hole where the original feature was. As we come back here, we're going to be removing the slabs so that we can start to measure and think about building our passage through for the fish to swim through. Now, what I'm doing is digging a small passage through, only really to connect the ponds. This will ensure that we have better water quality moving forward. As the larger the pond, the better it is, easier it is to keep your quality. As we go back, we measure and put the slabs back to ensure that when we put the bridge on top, we'll have a nice strong base for it on there. Alright, so we've done a bit more. Just wanted to get a bit further on before we showed much more progress. You can just see on this side, we've come down approximately sort of 4 to 6 inches so far. On this side, going a little bit further, we're probably down nearly to about 18 inches. And what you will see here, if I come this way, is we're starting to build up this berm in the back here. What we're going to do is position the waterfall somewhere around here, coming down and then in to this kind of pond. Now, what you can see is we've kind of cut back under the siding there to make it look much more of an overhang, so that when you look at it this way, you don't see any of the concrete. It's going to look like water both sides, just like a kind of bridge would do. The way we've gotten around supporting this is to, as you can see down here, we've got our large swim-through passage underneath here, and really that's just to ensure that this bridge can handle any weight. These are really only rated to the 150 kilograms. So as we finish the berm with the rest of the excess dirt, I'm placing it in areas needed around the garden. This just helps to get rid of the waste. Alright, so we're just coming to the end of day one. You can see down in here now, we've started getting our shelves in. Got a reasonable sized berm in the back here, sort of dug down to our final depth of about 2 foot. And you can see over on this side, we've carried it on, getting down to the 2 foot depth on this side. Just come take a look at it from this way. And you can see down in here now, getting a decent amount of depth on that side. And of course, as you can see down here, the multiple shelves that we've got here, going down around about this sort of 8 to 10 inches, down to our final depth. If we come down underneath, you can just see through our passage, we're all out to the other side. This will be our sort of swim through passage for the fish and things like that. Again, just kind of enabling it to be a full pond on either side and not sort of making false ponds or a false bridge, which is an option if you are trying to do it without connecting the two. But of course I did want to have water flow from both sides, and again kind of coming onto our large pond here. But what we'll do is just show you the start of day 2. Alright guys, we're back and it's the start of day 2. You can just see in the main pond here, we've got all the fish hitting the surface and enjoying their feed for the morning. Just coming on this way, you can just see kind of back to where we're at here. Goal today is to get most of this dug out. Hopefully we may get the liner and underlay in today, but what we're going to do is just start digging, see if we can get this all down to depth on this side and take it from there. As we get down further on this side, you can see roots being exposed here. These will all need to be chopped back before the underlay and liner goes in. Was able to get a helper to help me get some of the dirt here, but as you can see, it is slowly going, and we are reusing this all around the garden, which is very helpful as well. You can just see here now we've got majority of the dirt out, getting down to our bottom level, leaving a couple shelves, as you can see, just along the top here to stuff some rock in, bringing the sides down as straight down as we can go on this side, just to mimic this pond over here. Again, what we're going to do is get the rest of this dirt out, and then we can start thinking about getting the liner in. Hopefully we'll be doing this liner in today and possibly start rocking in as well. There are a few purposes to adding shelves to your pond. One is to help in placing rock, so you can make it somewhat more natural looking. As steeper the sides, it is harder and you need much larger rock to do so. But another purpose of the shelves as well is to keep the ground stable around the pond. I typically wouldn't go more than sort of 8 to 10 inches down, maybe a foot, before building another shelf. As you can see, we're cleaning out here. I do find it's easy to push the dirt into one pile in one section, as it's just easier to get it all out and keep the other areas clean as we do. So just as you saw in the time lapse, you could see we're getting our shelves in. Got down to where we need to. We've made this sort of deep channel in the middle, hopefully to make it look like it's going into this pond. What we're doing at the moment, you can see with the bucket here, is just going around and picking up all of the loose stones and things like that. We're going to go through and trim off all the roots that you can see here. Very important, you want to get that down. The next thing we'll think about after that is getting our underlay and liner in, which will mean we'll need to remove the bridge. Kind of had it here as a walkway to get over to this side easily, but we'll need to remove the bridge, remove the slabs underneath here, and start to think about getting the underlay in. And that is, once again, we've got all the little stones and things out of the out of underneath here. So just as we get the last stones out, we can start to prepare for the underlay. Now this is the most important when it comes to protecting your pond. Try and go for as thick of an underlay as you can. I did end up going with the Swell liner and underlay for this one, which I'll put a link to in the comments section below. But you can just see here, getting the underlay on and making sure that we got it all covered out, all the areas where the liner will go. We want to ensure there is underlay underneath. We will be putting an overlay over the top. Now this is to protect the stones and the liner when they do go in eventually as well. You can just see here the overlay going over the top. Now what we tend to do with smaller ponds, personally I like to do a wet test, which is just simply testing if it is holding water without getting all the stones in first. If it was a much larger pond though, I would typically do all of the interior work before a wet test on that. So just something to bear in mind. But as this is a 7 by 7 foot and only 2 foot deep, we can easily get the water in and out, but also find out if it is holding water, which it should do. But we'll have a look and see once we do get the water in. What we're going to do is partially fill this nearly to where it would go, and what we'll do is let the water weight stretch out the liner so that we know it is in the right place. As you can see, we've got the rocks around here, starting of the waterfall rock. So we're at the end of day 2 now. What we're going to do is, as I'll show you just before we finish up for day 2, I'll show you this kind of nearly full, just so you can get an idea of what it will look like. Of course, we still need to go back around, trim off the liner, you know, place it under the slabs and things like that. But for now, at least good progress for today. We've got the liner, underlay in, and our overlay as well. Tomorrow we'll be working on the waterfalls and of course trimming all this up. Alright, so we're back on day 3, and as you can see, wet test is complete now. We haven't lost sort of any water, which is great to see. Looks like the liner has pulled itself out in a few places as well. What we're going to be doing today is to start work on the waterfall area. As you can see, we've got some stones here ready to go in. You can also see down here we chose a few different ones with sort of interesting markings, things like that. Again, hopefully to kind of create some unique water flow off of these. Hopefully we can get some good height as well, create a decent looking waterfall here. But what I'll do is just show you getting some of those stones in and trying a few different formations. When building the waterfall, I always find it's best to try different formations of rocks. You can see I'm trying a few around. What I ended up wanting to do here was to create a bit of a cave so that when you use the underwater lighting, it will be able to have a nice effect in this little section here. And we'll just try and get those lights in a second. So one of the next steps here, we're going to be adding these Poposoap pond lights. Now these are for within the pond, so this is going to give you the underwater lighting. Now with these it does have the RGB remote, so you can change the color on these. Quite good. I have them in another pond, and again I love the kind of look of them. I'll put an image on screen of it now. We're going to get these in. Going to start getting these in now as I'm going to try to build them into the waterfall area, as well as try and get them down into here. But just to show you, as I say, what comes in the box. Again, you've got your manual here. Of course, you're going to have your remote, and of course then you've got your power supply here as well. And so this one is a plug-in. This is not a solar, and it comes with our 4 lights, as you can see here. So what we'll do is just try and get these into the pond. So you can just see in here where we've placed a couple of the pond lights. This will be coming up here. At the moment, just using an old pump just to test just water flow, just getting a little bit of an idea of what water is going to look like down this section. Of course, what we're going to do next is to go in and foam this so we can get a much better idea of how the water is going to run. I will also show you the kit we'll be using from Poposoap in this pond and give you kind of a little bit of a run through of how that's going to work. I think we're going to try and get a nice little waterfall off the back here, but I'll just show you the foaming in process now. So just to show you here, you can see this is the foam I'll be using. It's just your standard expanding foam filler. As you can see, waterproof steel. Does work very, very well, I've found. And I know you can get sort of black foam as well, or some of the aqua foam. For me, I've found it pretty much does the same thing. With this, of course, I do need to, of course, hide the white, but that can be easily done with little bits of the fleece left over from the underlay. But with that said, I'm just going to show you that getting in, just to show you the foam that we'll be using on this. I'll probably go through a couple cans of this, but it's quite inexpensive in relative to things like concrete, which again is not more malleable. You have to wait a lot longer to test it out. With this, we should be able to test it within the next hour or two. Fortunately, it didn't record the foaming section, but you will see it on the next section I do. What I'm doing here is just going around and placing stones to hide some of the foam while it's still setting off. Now, for this next bit, now that I'm happy with it, I can start to get the new waterfall box in and start running tests with it all being foamed in now. Right, so here is the kit for the first waterfall that we're going to be doing. This is our Poposoap. So this is your 40 watt. This is going to have a 660 gallons per hour on this one. Now, as you can see in here, very easy, simple kit. We've got the glues inside provided. Now this is to put our water blade front on. It does come with the tubing that you can see here, bulkhead already supplied, and everything sort of already pretty much set up on that. So what we're going to do basically is just quickly get these set up. If you haven't checked out our other setup videos, certainly check that out. We're going to get this glued on first, and then I'll just briefly show you screwing in the bulkhead here and how to do that one. Again, for this Poposoap kit, great little waterfall box. Now this is the 12-inch box here that we've got. Again, this is a stainless steel as well, so should be quite durable. And what we'll be doing is just hiding this on top of the waterfall up there, and then when we use the next bit of kit, I'll just show you that getting installed. But for now, we'll just get this one tested and in place as well. And just quickly to show you here, so I've got the silicone in. You can see there's a bit of excess there, but it's completely fine. We could just wipe that off with a bit of tissue and just let that dry. So you can just see here now the first wet test of the foamed in waterfall. 1 foot box is working fairly well. Now we've decided to add this 2 foot Poposoap box as well. Now I have a build and review of this product in the description for you as well if you want to check that out. But for this particular box, we're going to try and get around about 3 foot of waterfall going across there. Now what you can see is the waterfall boxes do help the displacement of the water, giving you a nice even wide blade. So it is important when you do put these in to ensure that you get a level on them as well. And you can just see I'm trying to roughly fit this here. You can see we've also had another lot of stone come in. Now I do find I'm doing it in smaller batches, choosing the stone that I want at the time. It does help for me to build, and I can figure out which areas need larger or smaller stones. It is worth kind of having your stones laid out so you can see the size and placement of them as well when you are starting to build. Now that we've got all those stones in, you can just see here now we are testing the water flow over this feature. And now, as you can see, got a reasonable flow. It does sort of give us a nice cascade down. Now what I'm doing here is just preparing to add the foam, which you can see me applying now. Now as you can see, the expanding foam does fill out quite quickly. Don't be fooled, you know, if it does come out quite a bit, it looks a bit funny at first, but what we can do is again trim this all off. It's quite easy to trim, as you can see me doing here. Now if you don't let it set and harden, you can push that in, but if it does harden, not to worry. What you can do, as you can see, is use a knife and just carefully trim that all off. So you can just see the progress now. We have done a little bit of arrangement off camera, but rather than show you every single step, just show you the kind of where we're at now. You can just see here, we've moved this rock down on the side, and we've put a few more rocks just to cover that white. Still need to go around and hide a lot more of the white. Need to get our inner pond stones in as well. But you can see now, we are starting to get you know, a good little look off the sides here. This whole box still needs to be covered, and we've already started backfilling and putting a few plants here. What we're going to do is to show you hiding this waterfall box, and then what we'll do is get it all buttoned up for you so we can show you the end result and reveal as well. Just as we go to place the last rocks, we can start thinking about planting and decoration around the pond. As I'm going through here, I'm just adding some natural mosses and ferns just to start the planting process. When it comes to the final reveal in a second, you'll see we've added quite a few more plants and things that do soften the edges and do help to kind of blend in the pond and make it look more natural. I think with the idea of this, you can see is a bit more of a kind of water wall feature, kind of water going everywhere here. But what I'm going to do is just get the last few rocks in and hide the pipes and show you the reveal now. So we finally managed to get the rest of the rock and plants added in. As you can see here, we've gone with a gravel bottom. Now, although this is a lot harder to clean than a traditional empty bottom, I did want the more natural look of this pond. As you can see, there's little fish in here. We've moved over from the large pond, which you can just see here. And I think looking at the project, it does really fit in with this large pond project. Now, of course, the water in this pond has been in here for over a year, so it does a little bit darker. This is fresher water, so it's a lot clearer. But as you can see here, we've planted up the other side as well, raised the back borders so that you've got quite a lot of vegetation around the pond, really softening up the border there. And you can see all the fish in the pond here, really loving it since we've been in. Been able to catch quite a few at the large pond that had lots of babies there. Now, around the edges here, we've gone with lots of different types of ferns, some of the Pteris ferns. Now we do also have a lot of tropical gardening content on the channel, hence why we've chose a lot of different unique varieties of ferns around here, just adding to the area as well. But now I'll just show you at night, which is when I think it really takes off. As you can see, the lights up in there, lighting up the pond and waterfalls. Now, unfortunately, the camera doesn't pick up the pond great at night, but there's an absolute wow factor when you're in person here. Of course, if you haven't checked out the friends of the channel, they'll be in the comments section below. If you're not subscribed to our channel, certainly feel free to do so. Of course, if you haven't hyped the video, feel free to do so as well. Certainly helps us creators grow. Check out the channel. We've got lots more builds. This is the 11th pond in the garden. We've got lots more coming as well as product reviews. Of course, thanks to Poposoap and the equipment. Been fantastic, and we'll have links to all the products there as well. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.